the way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. And this is tied to the Edomites, the nation known as the Edomites. They were not set up for the purpose of peace, and they do not know the ways of peace. When you look at these other nations, they have some level of understanding of peace. Some ways of old which they practice. The Edomite nations are the nation that went the furthest away from that, and they're trying to push those ways upon the world. Okay. And I have a perfect example of that dealing with this particular video on Instagram. Speaking about how Salakia, speaking about how the Dutch treat their guests. Okay, the Dutch Edomites treat their guests, and that shows you that those places are ran by Edomites, that the majority of people there are Edomites. Okay, because this is not just the Dutch that do this. This is throughout all of Europe is mainly like this. They don't know hospitality. That's not in their culture. But all these other cultures, from Moab to Elam to Ishmael to all these different cultures, they know hospitality. Okay, you Jakes, a lot of you Jakes that grew up in America and things of that nature, you don't know hospitality because you were raised under the ways of Esau. You understand? But even you at a time, you were practicing hospitality one to another. So anyways, I'm going to play this video here in Instagram, okay, to show you. Let's bring this back. So you saw that, okay? You saw what happened there. She came to these different parties. She went to the Turkish party. She went to the Nigerian party, and she went to the which the Turkish. The thing is, they're Muslims. They follow the ways of Ishmael. They which most likely have some Ishmaelites and Amalekites mixed up among them, but they follow the ways of Ishmael. Okay, so that's why they do what they do, dealing with giving people food and so on and so forth. Nigerians, that's Israel, that's Jake, you know what I'm saying? So you already know, you don't leave with a whole bunch of things. But when she went to the Dutch party, she didn't leave with nothing. She actually left hungry because they don't know the ways of the Most High. They don't know the ways of hospitality. And then when you come into the comment section, you have all kind of people giving their testimonies about how messed up these people are. Okay, this is one guy named Is that JSL. He said, when you go at your Dutch friend's house and his mom sends you home and tells you to come back later because they're gonna eat. What kind of madness is that? So they're gonna eat, so they tell you to go home. And there's even worse accounts in here as well. All right, and this is as a child. Okay, you see, when I used to go to my friends, my Jake friends, even the Edomites the Jakes that look like Edomites. If I went to their house, I was definitely eating, man. Okay, I already knew I was eating. You see what I'm saying? Had this one friend, he lived right around the block from me. Literally right around the block. Literally get me 10 minutes to go home. Not even 10, 3 minutes to get home. I just hop over the fence. Okay, but guess what? I would always be eating by their house. Always be eating by their house. Okay? See, that's how Jake is. But see, them, they don't know those ways. They don't know the ways of hospitality. It says, see, this is from Cyrus Prod. It said, looking at the comments, why is it normal in European countries to exclude guests from meals? That is one of the worst cultural practices I've ever heard. So you see that, because that all these other nations, they do not practice this. You go to Asia, like I told you, go to Japheth somewhere in the forest somewhere, okay, and they're gonna be practicing a form of hospitality. Esau is a base man. The scriptures speak about Esau being base. Matter of fact, let me get that, and I'll come back to the comments, Lord willing, if the Spirit leads me back there. But we got to get some of these scriptures, man, because Esau is very, very base, you know. Let's get Job 30, man. This is Job 30 in verse. Matter of fact, let's just start from 1. It says, "But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock." Okay, younger than I, meaning they're on a lower level than me. Okay, yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meats. Right, because they were chased forth, into the wilderness. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, because of their mannerism, the way they would steal, they would rob, they would be brutal, they'd be savage. Okay, so there was a point where they cast Esau away from them. Okay, but now this same devil who was on that low level in the caves grunting, didn't even have a language. This same devil is ruling over us, okay, and talking shit against us. It says, "To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they braid." Now, braid is something that a horse does. They you see, like when they show you the movies about the cavemen, that happened to these Edomites not so long ago. Okay, they were in that state only a few hundred years ago. Okay. It says, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth, and you can see that come out in their culture. The scriptures say what? You shall know them by their fruits. And you Jakes, you Israelites that are the way you are now, this is not your culture. This is a synthetic culture that was designed by the Edomites for you. Okay? Even in Jake's wickedness, there was some level of decency. Even in Jake's wickedness, you could even go back to the 50s. They would tell you that there wouldn't be a homeless black person on the street because another Jake would take them in. Did that mean there wasn't scummy Jakes? Jake wasn't robbing each other or scamming each other, doing all manner of wickedness to each other? No, it didn't mean that. Jake always was wicked. But the levels of wicked, the scriptures say that the ways of the wicked seduceth them. Let's get that, man. You understand what I'm saying? So there was a level of decency amongst Jake. Okay, there really was. There truly was. Even in the Caribbean, I don't know how it is now, but there was a time where you couldn't not pass a Jake and not say hello and not say how you doing. Okay. This is Psalms 39. No. This is Proverbs 12 and 26. It says, "The righteous," which is the Israelites, "the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them." And that's what's happened. You Jakes have been seduced by the ways of the wicked. Okay, this is why you are the way you are now. Selfish, greedy, niggardly. That's where when people start saying the N-word, the N-word Nig to the G to the E to the Izar, right? That just means black. Literally, it just means black. That's in the scriptures. Okay, how was it Barnabas and certain disciples were called black or Neigg to the E to the R. Now that's just a description of someone that is very dark skinned. Okay, and every so-called black person does not fit that description. You see, Wesley Snipes would fit that description. Different super dark-skinned Jakes would fit that description. Not every Jake fits that description. Okay? You just come from, because to have brown skin is normal. To have from a dark brown to a medium to a light brown is normal. Okay? So anyways, at the end of the day, you Jakes are following after the ways of the wicked. And this is why you act the way you act. Okay? You're really out of character. This is why the Lord is going to have to reset you. He's going to have to do an ethnic cleansing and reset you. And I want to get a couple scriptures dealing with hospitality, because that was part of our culture. Hospitality is part of the Israelite culture. 1 Timothy 5. Let me see. 1 Timothy 5. And I'll see what else I'll get in verse. It says 1 Timothy 5 and verse 9. It says, "Let not a widow be taken into the number under 60 years old, having been the wife of one man." Right? So this is dealing with those that are able to, women that are able to come into the ministry, to help the ministry. They had to be at least 60 years old. Okay. And it said, well reported of for good work. And they had to be the wife of one man, by the way. It said, well reported of for good works, if she have brought up children, if she have lodged strangers, if she have washed the saints' feet. That was a custom in the ancient world, where if someone would come to your house, you would get a bucket, okay, and you would wash their feet. Okay, that's some hospitality for your ass. That's some serious hospitality, man. Okay, and that's also humility, man. It says, if she have relieved the afflicted, if she have diligently followed every good work. And that was men as well as women that were doing that. Okay, how should I wash the disciples' feet? Okay, his disciples' feet, his own servants. It says, if she have diligently followed every good work. Okay, so that's a form of hospitality right there. Let's go to Job 31. You see, Esau doesn't follow that way. And you can read the comments and you'll see, man, it's not just the Dutch. It's all this. It's those Edomite countries in general. What Esau pushes is individualism. He doesn't push family. He doesn't push a community. He acts like he pushes a community. He really doesn't push a community. All right. Go to the Arab world. You'll find what true community is all about. Go to Africa, certain places in Africa. You'll find what community is all about. Certain places in Asia. Okay, don't go to Hong Kong. Don't go to those places, because those places have been seduced by Esau. Those places are Edomized. Okay, go to like Thailand. Go to different regions like that. This is Job 31 and verse 17. It says, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 16. It says, if I have withheld the poor from their desire, or have caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or have eaten my morsel myself alone, meaning what? You're supposed to feed people. You're supposed to be hospitable to people. And the fatherless hath not eaten thereof. For from my youth he was brought up with me as with a father, and I have guided her from my mother's womb. If I have seen any perish for want of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he were not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, right? If I have lifted up, this is called being kind. This is called having a caring and sharing spirit. Esau doesn't have that. If I have lifted, you have all these Edomites driving in these, fancy cars. If you would be amazed at the way some of these Edomites live. You think are just normal Edomites. They're living a very illustrious lifestyle, man. They got money for days, man. Bank accounts with hundreds of thousands, just walking around, chilling, going to the same grocery store you go to. But one thing you don't see is a lot of those devils, they don't be giving no money to the poor. They don't give no money to the poor. They don't, they're very stingy. They're very, and that's where you get the word niggardly from. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get that word. Okay. It says, if I have lifted up my hand, brothers in the truth have given more money than these devils with all these millions of dollars. If I have lifted up I'm talking to random people. I'm not talking about just brothers in the brotherhood. I'm talking about random people. If I have lifted up my hand against the fatherless when I saw my help in the gate, then let mine arm fall from my shoulder blade and my arm be broken from the bone. Okay. And let me look up that word because this describes you Edomites, man. This describes you Edomites perfectly. Let's come over here. Okay, the word niggardly means serving out the rations with niggardly hand in a stingy or meager manner. So who are the true niggards or niggardly people? The Edomites. Those are the top niggardly people on the earth. Okay, they're not hospitable people. Okay, they're not greedy. Oh, well, we're letting these immigrants in. That has nothing to do with you. That's the government for their purpose. That has nothing to do with you. There's nothing to do with you. Okay? Cheap. And matter of fact, the Amalekites are known for being cheap and stingy. But those are supposed to be the people of God, right? Listen, man, the Most High, these people don't have the ways of the Most High within them. Okay? Let's get back to these comments. I hate when it does that, man. Anyway, so let's get back to these comments, man. It says, this is Miss, whatever, man. You see the name there, MSSHQIPE. It says, I went to a Danish girl's house and ate dry critter bowler, the cheapest bread rolls you can get. And she texted me the following day asking me to pay for them. She even asked for more money than they cost. Mind you, and that's called being niggardly. That's called being stingy. That's called being a lowlife. Mind you, every time, can you imagine someone came to your house or whatever and they ate, and then you're gonna tell them to pay you back for whatever they ate at your house? That's a sick mindset, It said, mind you, every time she came to my house, she could get my mom's home-cooked meal every time. She asked for it before we offered on several occasions. So this is this is how these Edomites are. It says, Western culture is based on individualism. There is no family culture or communitism, communitism, I think is what he's trying to say. But anyways, right? So based upon what he just said there, right? Let's deal with you could even go to Daniel's. It speaks about down in Daniel's. Let's go to Daniel's. What's that? The second chapter. Daniel's 2 dealing with the statue, but I want to go to the toes, man. I want to go to the toes. We know that the statue is dealing with the kingdoms, right? The different kingdoms, right? Go to the interpretation. Okay, let's go to verse 42. This is Daniel 2:42. It said, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, which is this kingdom we're living in now, the new revived Roman Empire, NATO and the EU, headed by America, right? So it's partly iron and partly clay. So the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, right? You have the strong Edomite nations, then you got the weak Edomite nations, which are known as the pigs, Okay, you got Portugal, Ireland, Greece, Spain, Italy. Those are weak economic nations and weak when it comes to war, because economics is tied to war. It says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with the miry clay, which those would be the strong nations. They're all them other European nations for the most part. England, America as well, right? Although it's not European. America, Turkey, so on and so forth. Okay. It says, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. That's all them immigrants that be in those Edomite nations, them immigrants that they have coming in there. Okay, that's the seed of men. But they shall not cleave one to another. Why? Because they're divided. There's individualisms in those places. Those people are not tied spiritually and mentally to these places. Okay, the reason they come to these parts of the earth, America, Canada, UK, so on and so forth, is for opportunity. When they come here, they really see how stressful it is and how much of a scam it is. But there's more opportunity on this place, so they're not tied to this place. They're not cleaving to the people of this place. They're still tied to their own culture. They stay to themselves. It says, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Okay, see that? So these devils, they don't know hospitality. I'm gonna read a couple more. No. Oh my goodness gracious! I'm tired of this thing playing. Salakia, let's read a couple more. Yeah, see, but Esau's getting offended at these people talking about him. There's a lot of Edomites that are offended. Okay, it says hospitality in Western Europe is basically non-existent. Yeah, because Esau's the devil. That's why this has 666 on it. Okay, Esau's the devil. Okay, it says, see, Esau's getting offended. I'm starting to get bored of foreigners promoting stereotypes. Yeah, it's okay. It's not a stereotype, it's a fact. We all, Latinos, blacks, and Arabs, understand the concept of sharing our prosperity and abundance with others. See, I'm telling you, even these other nations, they have a form of decency, although they got to get slapped into subjection. If you go to an Ishmaelite country, they will show you hospitality. Okay? By all means, take the food. What am I going to do with it? Put it in the fridge so I forget about it and have to throw it out in a week. Nah, enjoy yourself. Okay? So people get it. So people are speaking against these Edomites are being found out, man. Okay? See, Edomites, I'll say Edom, the right name. Edomites can surely learn a thing or two about hospitality. Damn. See, man, you got to eat before the party. That's crazy. So, anyways, okay, let's read this one. This is gonna be the last one. It says, my mother still talks about it. We were invited somewhere when our came. Okay, anyways, I don't know what you meant by that. When we came, and the tea that was served was black, same cup, serving after serve. What? This is crazy. In the end, she asked, "How much does milk cost in Holland?" I don't even understand what this person is saying, so we're gonna read another one because that didn't make too much sense to me. It sounds like they were kept recycling the same cup, which is madness. I know there was one that spoke about how the person, when he was a kid, the mother made him wait in the room while they ate while he was over his friend's house. That's satanic, man. Oh, yeah. This was a good one. Yeah, this was a good one. It says, be glad you weren't a kid in Sweden, especially as a Muslim raised kid. Here's the typical story. Kids play at their Swedish friend's house, and then it's time for their family to have supper. And the friend will go, we're about to eat, so, but you can wait in my room. Yo, this is madness. This is madness. I would have invited you to eat with us, but we're serving pork. Like there isn't anything else on the table, like potatoes, salad, etc. While my mom basically forced them to eat with us every time they were at our house. Horrible experience, honestly. It's evil because these devils are not, they don't have any form of godliness in them. Okay, they are the opposite of godly. Okay, let's get a couple examples of how we would basically fight you to come in to stay at our house if you were a stranger. Okay, we would basically fight you in our culture. You better come stay with me, and I'm gonna cook for you too. Okay, and you better eat it. All right. So this is how it was, man. But Esau is the exact opposite. This is Genesis. So you see, you got to tie the characteristics of the people of the Lord in the scriptures to find out who these people are today. These are not the Edomites that are running around with the hats on their head. Those are not the people, man. Okay? This is Genesis 19:1. It says, "And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet. And ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly. He said, Nah, man, I'm not letting you stay out here in the damn street, man. Come into my house. You see, this is how our culture was. This is how we were as a nation. And we're going to get back to this, man. And they turned in unto him and entered into his house. And he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. So he cooked for them, he washed their feet, he gave them accommodations, whatever the case, a place to stay. At that time we had what we call guest houses. Okay, so that's the fact, man. And guess what? They would protect these people with their lives. When you read on, it tells you men came to come get them, and he offered up his daughter in their stead, because you would protect your guests with your lives, straight up, by any means necessary. Let's get Judges 19. Then I'll probably close it off on this. This is Judges 19 and verse 15. And it reads, And they turned aside thither. Matter of fact, let's go to 14. And they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And Benjamin was being wicked as hell at this point in time. Lord willing, I was in the spirit world at this time. It said, and they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in the street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. Why? Because them dudes was wicked. Okay. And behold, there came an old man from his workout of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city, and the old man said, Whither goest thou, and whence comest thou? And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I, and I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for my handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants. There is no want of anything. And the old man said, Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street. Okay? So he brought him into his house and gave him provender unto the asses, right? So he fed his animals. That was a custom as well. Okay? And they washed their feet and did eat and drink. Okay? So this was normal custom amongst us as Israelites, dealing with strangers, dealing with people or guests that are coming into our house. And you would have an evil name if you did not show hospitality. See, Esau doesn't know hospitality because Esau is a niggard, as we were showing you, and I cannot wait till Esau is fully exposed for what they truly are. All kind of people in the comment boards making excuses. Well, the truth is coming out because all these people are showing their experience. Okay, and experience means to try out. So these devils have been tried out. They've been weighed into balance and found to be wanted. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect, and I'll say shalom.